Gym owners, in today's video, we're going to be interviewing Rick Screeton, who is an ex-professional fighter and now an owner of one of the biggest gyms in his town. He has successfully bought a UFC gym, rebranded it, and successfully scaled it to multi-six figures. In today's video, we're going to be interviewing him, talking about his journey, where he started and where he's at now. If you don't know who I am, my name's Sam Arch, and I've helped successfully scale over 80 gyms in 2023 alone. Basically, what we help gym owners do is reduce the hours they work while doubling or even tripling their current revenue. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this interview. All right, awesome, man. Yeah, we'll just get started. So, guys, this is Rick. Rick has pretty much scaled his gym from sharing it with partners, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yep.
And you scaled it, got enough revenue to eventually buy it from your partners and own it yourself. Yeah, Rick's story is pretty amazing, guys. So we're just gonna dive into that and just talk about what he did to eventually buy out his academy and have it running successfully by itself. So, Rick, if you don't mind just introducing yourself, man, and kind of just talking about what you did.
Sure. My name is Rick Screeton. I am a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, ex-pro Muay Thai fighter, ex-pro MMA fighter. That's kind of where I came from as far as background. I got in a gym space about 15 years ago, and um, I've witnessed the evolution of gym and marketing and their systems, and I have failed horribly using other people's money. I have failed using my own money. I've had successes using other people's money. I've had success using my own money. And yeah, I'm happy to share, what I did or what I do and how, how putting the right systems can really help people.
Awesome, man. Okay, perfect, man. Well, if you just want to start off, do you mind just sharing a bit about where your academy is at right now?
Sure. Um, so right now, my wife and I recently bought the academy I'm in. It is an ex-UFC gym. Um, when I, after co- so by the just a little background, I also used to work for corporate for UFC gym. I used to help open gyms. I used to get shipped around. Sorry. After COVID, I was a general manager of a large UFC gym in Florida, and when COVID hit, I lost my job, and so I lost everything. Like I put my tail between my legs. We moved back to Connecticut here in the U.S. with my wife's parents. We lived in a spare bedroom. But luckily, I'd built up enough of a reputation in the gym industry where there was a UFC gym not far. They needed help at the time, they needed help with their skills programs, which is the Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and that's my specialty. I run good programs. Um, so I went in there originally as a uh, as a profit sharing partner only for the skill side. So after about a week being there, I was okay. I need to take a look at the books, to see kind of what's going on, to see what I'm starting with, to see where if I can pull any from the general gym side over to the martial arts side. And when I took a look at the books, I realized everything that was going on in that business. And I told the partners, like, hey, like, by the way, the day I said, I'm going to look at the books, the general manager popped his head in. He quit. Like I said that in the morning, he left for lunch and didn't come back because he knew that he was about to be kind of exposed what he was doing. Um, and I went through and I looked and I went to at the time, the owners and was like, listen, here's your problems. Here's the things you need to fix. And they said, well, can you help with this? And I'm like, no, you're bleeding money. You can't afford me. But what I will do is I'll do this for a year and I'll take 25% of the entire business. So we had an agreement. I would turn it profitable. Um, First through cleaning up my existing processes and then implementing the processes I use now. Um, After a year, I took my 25% and it's still I'm there, but now like there's too many hands in the pot. So I told the other owners, like, hey, listen, why don't I buy this from you guys? Um, so I ended up taking it over, making them payments out of the revenue from the gym, um, and basically bought the business from them using their own business. So just by implementing the right outbound marketing, follow-ups, and systems, was able to turn a gym that had never been profitable, even with a big brand on it, to profitable. And in fact, one of the best things we did is when we took the brand off and we got out from underneath their restrictions on what we could and couldn't do, it really helped turn it profitability.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So let's just take a trip down memory lane, Rick. When you obviously had a look at the books and decided to try and turn things around for the better, man, where were you kind of at on your knowledge on what you're doing with gyms and the systems you would have to put in place?
So this was, I mean, we're talking, I was still 15 years into my gym journey. I'd already made my failures, again, when I first started the gym industry, I had no idea. I had no idea about follow-ups. I had no idea about, and at the time they didn't even have like Facebook. They didn't have ads, like, right? Like when I first started. And I had just learned over the years, like, here are the systems, here's how to market, here's how to run ads, here's how to follow up with those ads once you get them. And man, it's the same system. It works, right? And it works fitness, it works fitness adjacent, it works everything. It works in all businesses. Um, so again, I'd already experienced a lot of failure, and the reason that you go to someone with expertise is to shortcut that learning curve. We're all going to end up in the same place sooner or later. How much money do you want to waste to get there? You know what I mean?
100%, man. And so when you started running all this stuff, did you know what you were doing, or was it just through relentless action that you actually got to being able to take the profit and then buy the academy out yourself?
Oh, it was so again, it was a culmination of years of failure. I knew what I was doing when I made that agreement. I knew what I was doing when I first stepped into that gym. But to tell you what, the piece that was missing, um, was because this is a large gym too. Like we're talking at 10,000 square feet. So like we're multi-level. It's a big gym. One of the problems I ran into was I am a very organized guy in how I run my business. But even then, like just chasing leads, following up took up a big part of my day, and keeping it all organized was crazy. Making sure I didn't forget to call this person, text this person, follow up with this person. And when, and this is about right when I discovered like how automations and learning to automate it gave, like, right now it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 a.m. here. I'm gonna go into my gym in about 5 hours or so. I'm gonna teach two classes and go home. Um, I mean, I can run everything remotely. I have someone there that runs the system. When I haven't, like, I can watch what he's doing through our automations, and honestly, most of it's already done for him. Automations were the key to buy back my time and to make sure nothing slipped through the cracks.
100%, man. 100% hear that. And what was your mindset kind of coming into it? Obviously, letting the automations take a lot of the work out of it, but what allowed you to do that? What were you kind of thinking about when going into something that takes a lot of the work from you and puts trust into a system?
So, um, man, grateful. Listen, like, with automation, I don't know what it's like there, but here, minimum wage here is $15 an hour. Okay, and that's just bare minimum. Um, do you know what minimum wage is there?
Probably minimum wage is probably around the same, but in Australian dollars. So I think it's
Like
around like
20,
20 Australian,
like
somewhere.
23. 23 would be about the same. 22.73. Okay, so it's high, right? And that's for an unskilled person, doesn't know what they're doing. So in order to put my business in the hands of somebody else, to make those calls, make those follow-ups, have those conversations, think of it this way. I bought back 40 hours a week, okay? For a skilled person, let's be generous and let's be generous and use Australian dollars, okay? So let's say 30 Australian dollars, okay? On an hour.
Yeah.
And then you times that by 40. 30 by 40 is 1200.
100%. Yeah.
So I save myself 1200, and in counting we use 4.3. So, putting automations in place save me having to pay an employee, having to supervise that employee, having to possibly train that employee, fire, hire, find other ones. And I mean, just doing the math here, like 1200 times 4.3 is 5,160 times 12 months a year. That's almost 60, it's rounded up, it's about 62,000 Australian dollars per year that this systems take care of for me, right? Like at the end of the day, like you're buying back your time, and you're taking away the error. I was relieved, grateful, happy. I'm so As a gym owner, I'm so happy that there's these systems in place to save me that money in that time.
Yeah, man. 100%. And on along your journey, when did it feel like you reached your first milestone of being a successful gym owner that doesn't ever have to worry about having to run all these things and train the classes and all the stresses that a gym owner has?
Um, you know, paying my bills on time and not worried about next month. It's been a few years, but also I don't consider myself successful yet. Like uh, I'm always satisfied, never content.
Guys, if you can see the size of Rick's gym, it's bloody massive. He's got about 3 floors, and it's the biggest thing I've ever seen. So that's very humble, man.
Yeah, it's a mailpackbjj.com for people that want to see it. Like you can take a look. It is 2 floors. Infrared saunas, locker showers. It's got its own. We have a physical therapist in there. Like we have strength conditioning area, jujitsu area, Muay Thai area. Like it's a. I'm very proud of that gym, if that makes sense. But I'm not. I'm never satisfied. Like so I'm always satisfied, never content. Like I always want more, right? Um, but there is some freedom. Like I said, I'm at home. I'm here till I put my kids on the school bus. I did my own workout this morning, which is something that I used to not be able to do. Is like I used to not be able to make time for me. I'm going to take my dog to the dog park, clean the house. Like really just made time for myself again.
Yeah, man. I'm happy for you, man. Yeah, your story's insane. Um, is there any lessons you learned along the journey that you would like to share for people that are kind of in the same situation as you once were?
Too many to list, but I'm going to give you some very important ones. Um, First of all is you have to invest, right? Meaning it's really hard. It's really hard when you feel like your gym's not pulling in enough money and someone comes to you and says, "Hey, invest in ads." But you're like, "Yeah, but my cash flow is not great." That's when you need to invest, right? Um, you need to invest when things are down. Like you can't, if you don't change it, you're not going to fix it, right? At some point, if you're going to crash and burn, you have to do a push, right? You have to invest. You must. Um, and sometimes like your success, I've seen like after COVID, even so there's a big chain called New York Sports Clubs here in New York, and the two closest one, like these are like 30,000 plus square foot gyms, and the two closest to us closed. Um, your success is usually just, man, right on the other side of hardship, right? When things are their worst, just keep going, man. Like find some help. Don't be afraid to get help. Like if you don't know how to do these systems, find someone that does, right? If you don't know how to run ads, find somebody that does.
Yeah, man. 100%. And then obviously people, like a lot of gym owners, just rely on their referrals and their word of mouth. At what point would you recommend they actually get out of that kind of paradigm and mind frame and start investing in what really works? At what kind of milestone mark would you say that that's important to scale the business further?
Pre-sale, like before the doors even open. It's never too late, but starting clean and early, like the earlier you are in your journey. So if I went to somebody who had these systems in place, and I've been running for 5 years, um, if I'm fortunate to have been make it 5 years, I should say, um, there's a lot of cleanup and change to do. The earlier you start things out clean, the earlier, don't wait until, again, it's impossible to make that financial commitment. If you wait till the last minute, sometimes it's too little too late. Start now.
100%, man. And I mean, obviously we have a different systems and what we use to scale all of our clients' gyms and what you've used specifically. But what are the key takeaways from your journey specifically, Rick? What lessons did you learn throughout it? And what would you say to yourself when COVID had ended? What would you say to yourself to kind of push it and make the time frame from where you are from when you started to where you are now a lot shorter?
Um, Again, hesitation. Don't let your own thoughts get in the way. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't let don't let the financial don't let a financial investment be the thing that holds you back from your freedom. At the end of the day, like putting automations and systems and spending money on ads, it's an investment in your business. If Again, I know it's hard. I know, like, when you feel like you're not making money, paying for ads, do it, do it, do it. You're not going to fix anything if you don't make the jump.
Yeah, man. I agree with you there. And Rick, is there anything you would say to yourself starting a journey from where you are now? Is there anything you would say looking back at it that you think the advice you could have used when you first started?
Um, yeah, it's not build it and they will come. It is a business. It is a fun business, but it's a business. Every business, systems run the business, people run the systems. Meaning, your business needs to be like everything. Your potential member, your lead should have a journey. It should be, they see you, capture interest, nurture, get them in, sign them up, right? That system should always stay the same. It should be duplicatable. It should be easy, and you should know it inside and out. Now, people run those systems. The systems don't change. If you have to change your whole staff over, the system should remain the same if it works, right? So you need to make it, simplify it, and take as much guesswork and errors out of their hands. So people run the system, systems run the business. The systems are not interchangeable. People sometimes are.
Mhm. Yeah, man. And just so bit of authority, for the people watching this video, man, where's your gym currently at right now in revenue wise, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, in Australian dollars, just a little north of 68,000 a month.
Awesome, man. And in what time frame did you go from obviously sharing the business with the UFC partners, being able to bind it out and being where you are now? How long did that take you for that whole process?
About a year. And also keep in mind that high revenue is not necessarily profitability.
Yeah.
You also got to fix your inside processes. And again, I know UFC gyms are having a rough go at it in Australia. But you don't need a big name. You don't need that to be successful. Taking that name off the building was one of the best things we ever did. Um, you don't need, you don't need the big name, big logo in front of your gym. You need to market correctly, and you need those systems.
Yeah, man. That's great. Honestly, Rick, I appreciate you hopping on the call with me and just explaining your story for the people that don't know. Guys, Rick does have a podcast and he does talk with a lot of other gym owners and a lot of other people in the space. So that will be linked down below if you want to check that out and just get a bit of information on what he does and how he helps his people. So yeah, that'll be linked down below as well. And yeah, Rick, I appreciate you giving me your time today, man. I know you're a busy guy. Um, with all the stuff you do. But yeah, I do appreciate it, man.
Always a pleasure, Sam.
Awesome, Rick. Perfect.
So, guys, that's the interview. If you guys are curious on how we help our clients, there will be a link in the description to a funnel. Now, I'm just going to be fully honest with you. This is a sales funnel and it is meant to sell you something. So if you guys are curious, there's a link there. I'm not forcing you to click it. I don't really care if you click it or not. But just know, if you're curious, there's a link to check it out. Okay, if you want to leave a like, I would really appreciate that. If you want to comment a problem you're having, and I would love to solve that for you guys. Or if you'd like to subscribe, it would make my day and I would love you for it as well. Apart from that, guys, I hope you got some value from this video, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, guys. Peace.